Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you Hominy corn porridge. So you're gonna need some with coconut milk. So you're gonna need some hominy corn. I'm using quarter cup, a 50-gram pack of coconut milk powder, half cup of refined cornmeal, half cup of sugar, and couple grates of nutmeg, and vanilla extract, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm using a couple cinnamon leaves and a tablespoon of coconut oil preferably, and a pinch of sea salt. Alright, so you're gonna need some water for sure, and a pot. Measure half cup of cornmeal, and measure now 2 cups of water, and then pour it on the cornmeal in a container, and just allow the cornmeal to soak. We do this so that your porridge won't be lumpy when you add the cornmeal to the porridge. Make it easier to stir to. Alright, so measure out quarter cup. You see, with hominy corn you don't want to use plenty. So measure, I'm just using quarter cup. This little scoop measures quarter cup. And then rinse. I know it's probably not necessary, but just wash it off. So rinse it and throw this water off. Alright, let me explain. I know I'm gonna say a lot of people say they don't do it this way, but I'm gonna pressure cook the hominy corn. It's only gonna take 12 minutes. It's something I do all the while. It's faster. I'm not gonna waste my gas boiling hominy corn. Alright, so now add 4 cups of water. Turn the stove flame on. Put your stove's gauge on 6. Put your stove's gauge flame on 6. Just allow. Once it starts to whistle, we're going to time it for 12 minutes. Alright, it's building, it's almost ready for timing. Alright, so once it starts to whistle, put your timer for 12 minutes. The stove's gauge is on 4 medium low. And just allow. Just allow. Alright, so after the time, just remove and allow. Just carefully remove the pot and allow it to cool. The pressure cooker pot. Alright, this took about 20 minutes to cool. 15-20 minutes to cool. You can immerse it under some water, and once you hear the psst, then you just remove the cover on the running water. That's the alternative if you're in a hurry. Alright, so now just test it to see how tender it is. Once you squeeze it, that's ready to start porridge making. Alright, the first sign to know that your hominy corn is ready is when it splits. And if you don't want to pressure cook it, you just boil it for several hours until it splits. You see why I pressure it, because I realize with Hominy corn, when you buy it on the street or so forth, sometimes it's still tough. So what you do is just drink the porridge and throw out the Hominy corn. That's what my friend says she do. And I do it sometime if it's hard. But when I make it for myself, I make sure the Hominy corn is tenderized properly. Alright, I'm going to use this smaller pot to make the porridge. The cornmeal, you just stir it in, stir it in. You stir it in to this kind of bring up the cornmeal in the liquid, so that when you pour it, everything just pour one time, like this, one pour. The cornmeal and the water is in the pot. All right. Now put your stove gauge on low, almost off low, like simmering. Put the stove's flame on low. Add the cinnamon leaves, and it's optional. Alright, so once you kind of stir the cornmeal in the Hominy corn stock, the Hominy corn stock that you just pressure cooked. Alright, add the cinnamon leaves. If you don't have cinnamon leaf, it's optional, you don't have to add it. But if you want, you can add like a pinch of cinnamon powder, like a pinch, a little tip. Just let it stay. Alright, now look, if you want to use real coconut milk, just use 4 cups of water to pressure cook the Hominy corn, and then after that you just add just let it boil, add the cornmeal and let it boil, and while it boils halfway, then you add the coconut milk with the sugar and so forth and all of those other ingredients, and just allow. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes. I just allowed it to stay. So now I'm gonna start cooking. I'm gonna start brewing or stewing. Let's brew and simmer. Alright, so put your stove's gauge on low, almost off low. See, look. I just allow it to stay. Why I do that? So the cornmeal could soften a little. I don't want to start cooking right away. You know, probably the water's going to suck out and the cornmeal not start cook properly yet. So I just do that because I want the cornmeal to soften. So you just cover it properly, sealed. Put the stove on low, almost off low, and allow. Alright, this is how low you want it. Almost off low. Sometimes the stove low is not low enough, so you gotta gauge it almost off, like you turning the stove almost off low. Add your grated nutmeg. About 3 or 4 or 5, 6 grates. About quarter teaspoon. If you're using it from the jar, about quarter teaspoon. Stir in properly, cover and allow. The sweat will help keep your porridge moist. It's nothing really, I'm just showing it to you. Alright, after 10 minutes, I didn't open the pot, I left it closed all this time. So this is my first stir. It's gonna be a little thick under the bottom because the cooking is working its way from the bottom up. So just use a wooden spoon like this, a soft wooden spoon like this, When I say soft, I mean with smooth, very, very smooth edges. And just stir in properly, cover, and allow. Alright, after 20 minutes, this is what it looks like. This is bubbling. I kept it closed. I didn't open it in between the time. That's a secret too, you gotta keep your pot closed so the flavor is kept in. Alright, stir in properly. Stir the bottom to the top gently. Alright, now would be a good time. You can add the vanilla extract, a tablespoon. If you have real vanilla, you can use that. Coconut oil, a tablespoon. Some people use butter, but you know me, I don't like the idea of this butter thing using all the while in cooking. I don't think it's healthy. It's a healthy habit. And then add a pinch of salt, sea salt preferably. And then stir in properly. The stove's gauge is on almost off low. It's gonna be on that almost off low all the way through the cooking. Alright, we might not use it, but have some water aside just in case it's thickening too fast. But if you keep the stove low, it won't thicken too fast, and if it's even thickening too fast, it won't be too thick with the stove's gauge on low. Alright, right after that, add the sugar. Add half cup of sugar. I'm using brown sugar, but you can use granulated sugar, or if you have healthier sugar, you can use that as well. Once it's sugar. Alright, so now stir the sugar in properly. Alright, so use your 50-gram pack of coconut milk powder instant. See, it's instant. Instant means it's not gonna, if you put it in the water, it's dilute fast. And you can even use a little bit more, like 50 grams plus 12 and a half grams. It's all up to you, but 50 grams is sufficient for this recipe. And two, if you're cooking more, all you have to do is just double ingredients. Alright, so stir it in properly. Don't worry about if it's gonna lump, it's not going to. This is coconut powder, which is not like flour. It's like, it has a little grain to it, but very fine grains. Alright, so stirring, and while you stir, it's creaming. It's creamifying. I don't know if creamifying is a word, but it's creamifying the porridge as well. Or creaminizing. Or creaming. Alright, you see that? It transforms in front of your face. In front of your two eyes, it transformed. Alright, so once you stir it in properly, probably about 25 minutes now since we start brewing our porridge. So just cover it properly, seal. The stove gauge is still on low, and allow. This is all low. At this point, if you can turn it down as low as possible, because I just did. I turned it down a bit lower. Watch it in the meantime, because if you turn it down a bit lower, it can sometimes go out, So you gotta watch it, make sure it's not out. Alright, it's been 40 minutes now since brewing. I didn't open it. I kept it closed within the time. Within the times. Alright, so you just stir in gently. I use a wooden spoon because it's better for the pot, one, and two, less noise, and three, some white boy came on and made a comment and said, why won't you use a wooden spoon? That metal spoon you're using make too much noise. So from he said that, it's in the back of my head since. So I decided to use it just because of that comment, really. So you just cover it and allow after stirring through. Alright, it's been 50 minutes now. I went and watched TV in between the time. Watch YouTube. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So just stir it in properly and creamify it more and more. Alright, so just stir in properly. Bring the bottom to the top. Although while you stir, that's what's happening anyways. Alright, this is how it looks. So you want it to be creamy and delicious. Alright, so you just cover it and allow. Stove gauge is still at low, almost off low, tiny low. Alright, it's an hour now. And note, if you have it on tiny low, you can always let it brew for a little while and just creamify some more if you're not in a hurry. And if you're selling, once it's cooked, I guess you can turn it off and keep it on low. I don't know. But it's best served warm. So stir in properly. Like you see me do. Alright, so this is it. It's ready. Just turn the stove off. And let's get ready to serve. Alright, so you just use a spoon that scoops. And two with Hominy corn. The secret is not to use plenty. If you notice, I just use 1/4 cup of Hominy corn for this amount, which is serving for two, maybe. For 2 persons. Alright, so this is Hominy corn Jamaican porridge. If you buy the Hominy corn in bulk, you get it cheaper. Local Jamaican people, that's an advice. Alright, so let's taste this thing for you. The top is start cooling, so I just take a little bit off the top. Well, if you know what Hominy corn is, tastes just like Hominy corn. A healthier version because I used coconut milk. Look for Hominy corn porridge condensed milk. I'm gonna do that one too as well. This tastes good, just like Hominy corn. It's gonna be better because the corn is gonna be tenderized and edible. Visit my website jamaicadinners.com. Support, share, and like. See you.
Yeah, man!